What is up, YouTube? We are here today with my boy Alex Ray. Alex, please tell everybody at home what you cooked up and what you were playing today.
I was playing a mixture of World Chalice and True Draco. It's my World Draco, if you will.
World Draco, I like that. All right. So how were you? How was the deck? Like, how did everything work out for you?
It was actually really awkward. Like, it's really weird because it's a new mechanic, learning it all. Honestly, though, it was just like the hands seemed really awkward, but they played out really well. Like, they had. With the Draco engine allowing me extra normal summons, I could sack off my World Chalice monsters to summon, as well as link summoning to protect them. It was really, really convenient. But yeah, it's really good.
The deck, I mean, I played against you earlier in the tournament. The deck had insane synergy, and it was a crazy good meta call because we have a lot of True Draco running around, True Draco Zoo, and just one game against me, you just activated Heritage, and you didn't even make a play. You just activated Heritage to draw 3 for free. Like, it's stupid. So, let's get into this deck profile.
Alright, so I start off by playing 3 Lee,
Let's
the World...
turn these around real quick.
My bad. 3 Lee, the World Chalice Fairy. She's your searcher for all of your World Chalice monsters, and she also has a recursion effect from the graveyard. You can send any monster from your hand or field to the graveyard to add her to your hand. 9 times out of 10, I would just, if I had a normal monster on the field, I would just summon, go into the other link monster, lets me normal summon again, and then it allows me to make link plays and special whatever I searched. Other than that, though, she really helped facilitate plays, and she could get dead monsters out of my hand to put something more productive like herself in. It's also convenient if she's in my hand at the start of the turn, and I have a link monster, and it dies, I can just special her and get a free search. And tribute fodder. Next up was World Chalice Guard Dragon. This card is insane. It helped me win a lot of my matches because True Draco cards, they like to target, and like Apocalypse, if they target a linked monster, and it says a linked monster, it doesn't have to be a link monster. So if I have a masterpiece under a link monster and you try to target it with a card effect, I can discard this card from my hand or field to the graveyard to negate the effect and destroy it. Then when it's in the graveyard, I can banish it to special summon any normal monster from my grave to a monster zone that my link monster points to. So it's just really good. It helps extend my plays and it protects my cards. It's something a lot of people didn't see coming. Then I play 2 World Legacy World Chalice. I dropped this to 2 because I'm not playing a pure World Chalice build, so it kind of clogs and it doesn't really do much. But when I see it, the card is insane because as long as I can resolve a tribute summon with this monster, it doesn't matter how I remove him from the field. When he leaves the field, he summons 2 World Chalices with different names from my deck. And then in addition to that, while he's in the graveyard, after the turn he was sent there, you can remove him from play to search any World Legacy card. So he can search himself, or he can search the spell card, which I'll get into in a minute. But my play that I used him most, if I didn't make the World Chalice plays, is I would summon him, and I would either pop him with Diagram, or I would send him to the graveyard with Lee to add her back to my hand and then trigger his effect. So that was my biggest play with him today. Then I played 2 Chosen by the World Chalice. I only play 2 of him because I don't play E-Telly and I need the vanillas, and they need to be different types for my link mechanics. But he's a 16 beater and he's not bad. And I won a game by running over Christia because I used Apocalypse to half it, and I attacked with vanilla. Like
crazy.
Then I played 3 Beckoned because he's just the best vanilla. He's an 18. Like, just summoning him is not bad, and he facilitates the rest of your link monsters. He makes Imduck, he makes Spider. Like, he's just amazing. He's just solid. Then the True Draco engine, I played 2 Dynamite. Just because I want to be able to search the traps, but I don't want to see him if he's just a support card. Like, they both just support each other. They don't want to overcloud each other. So I just play 2 because he's just standard. I play 2 Ignis because grabbing the spell cards is really convenient, especially if I've already got something set up or I have a play for Heritage. Like, I like summoning him and then searching Disciples because 9 times out of 10 when he leaves the field, Disciples will be live. Then I play 2 Masterpiece because 3 is too much. He's searchable, and he was good all day. He's Masterpiece.
Masterpiece and Star
Grills. For my other monsters, I played 2 Gofu. This card, despite what people do with the Cyberse into Link Spider, there's other plays you can do with him, especially with the World Chalice Link monsters, because he spawns 2 Dark Wing Beast tokens. Now, one of the Stargirl monsters in particular, Ib, what she does is she's 2 monsters with different types and attributes, So if I have any monster that isn't the Gofu token, I can link into Ib and just continue my plays there, because all of the World Chalice link monsters special World Chalice from my deck, my hand, when they die.
Right.
And then one Maxi, because it's Maxi.
Because it's Maxi.
As for my spells, I play Triple Diagram, just to search the cards, like the half of the engine. I have all my monsters search the other half of the engine, so I gotta be able to search this half. Terraforming, again, just to search, because it's deck thinning. I play 2 Heritage, because drawing cards is really nice, and it's got a lot of stupid setups with the True Draco builds, especially against the match. I learned that today. If they're playing True Dracos and you kill their cards, you can draw cards, which is ridiculous. But yeah, so I played 2 Heritage. It was really good.
Would you consider bumping Heritage up to 3 and maybe cut a Disciples or something?
I actually like my ratios because they work really well in tandem with each other.
Right.
I don't think I would change it, because I want to be able to see both. I want to be able to recycle. That's what Disciples is for. It's to recycle the engine, because my other engine has ways to recycle itself. The Star Relic's got a spell card.
Right.
2 of them in my hand. This just gives its own way of recycling, which is why I play Disciples, because recycling cards is really nice, and it gives me an extra tribute summon. I like seeing one or the other, so I don't want to see 2 Heritages. I'd rather see a Heritage and a Disciple.
Right.
So it allows for more silly plays. I play 2 Chalice, because Diagram. This was my friend Chris Whitten. He gave me this advice, but it outs Diagram. It's a good response, and it stops meta monsters. Like, if you activate an effect, I can chain Chalice and negate your monster and just kind of stun things. It's really convenient. It didn't come up too much, but it's just something I would still keep, because it wasn't a bad card. Then this card, World Legacy, World Heart. Well, World Legacy's Heart. This card is insane. What it does is it targets 2 World Chalices in my grave with different names and adds them back to my hand. And then if a link monster that I control, so like my Ningrisu, would die by battle while it's linked to something, I can banish this card instead. This came up a few times. Mostly it's just the add effect, though, because it just lets me continue extending my plays. Because once I start linking, I can just special them from my hand. So this card, it's pretty good. I like the.
Now I have a question with this.
Yes.
This you can activate this to target, let's say, your link monsters in the graveyard and put them back in the extra deck.
Yes,
this card?
absolutely.
Okay.
It's really good. For
yeah,
that.
because this deck kind of goes through their link monsters really quick. It's like a hyper link deck.
But it's really good. Putting my link monsters back in was really nice. Which is good, because I'll get into what I go through the most. And then Regeki, because this card just helps win games. It clears boards and allows you to put in damage.
Right.
And then for my trap lineup, it's only 4 cards. It's the True King's Return, and then 2 True Draco Apocalypse, because... Okay, so this card is really good because it facilitates all of my links. The Apocalypse is only subpar because it lets me cut attack in half, so it lets me get over bigger things, but this card is amazing because on the end phase of my opponent's turn, I can summon up a Draco monster from my graveyard, and that's an immediately free monster to link with, which is insane.
So now this also had some synergy in the extra deck. We'll get to that later when we get into that. Yeah.
But this card was just absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
I love this card. I would still keep the ratios the same because they're searchable.
Right.
But it was absolutely amazing.
Alright, so onto the extra deck now?
Yeah.
Alright,
cool. For the extra deck, I play 1 Link Spider because the Gofu and all my 5 World Chalice Vanillas. It's really good if I open up Gofu and a Vanilla, because I can literally just summon a token, then go into Link Spider and eat out a Vanilla and go straight into Imduct, which will allow me to extend my plays without wasting my normal summon, which surprisingly you get a lot of in this deck.
Yeah.
But that's just him. 1 Deco Talker. This card didn't come up too often, but it's a really good call against True Draco because it stops the targeting effects of their spells and traps.
Right.
So, and he gets really big, and if they summon something into a zone, he's 28, so he helps run over Masterpiece.
Right.
They have to either Apocalypse him or forcefully out him. And that's when World Legacy Heart and Cloud Dragon and a bunch of other cards came in, because I stuck on 1 Deco Talker for the longest. I play 1 Topological Bomber Gun. This card only came up once, but when it did, it won me the game.
Okay. So now tell everybody what this guy does if they don't know what he does.
Okay, so what this he's 2 effect monsters, which is the hardest thing about him. He needs effect monsters to make him. 9 times out of 10, I make him with link monsters.
Right.
But so your vanillas like Gaia Saber and stuff won't make him. But his effect is if another monster is special summoned to one of the pointers that he points to, so either your opponent's main monster zone or your main monster zones, he destroys all monsters in the main monster zone And then he's the only monster that can attack.
On all sides of the field, or just on your opponents?
Oh crap! I just realized something too. He's the only monster that I can attack with. But I just realized something. I won that game against Ramala a lot faster because if he destroys a monster by battle, if he destroys a monster by battle, he inflicts the original attack to the opponent. So I won that game a lot faster because I burned him for 5,000.
Wow.
So that was my bad.
So,
but yeah, he's a burner and he blows up the field. But you combo him off with True King's Return, and you literally just special summon your True Draco from your graveyard to the field.
So if he's over here, you just
special your True Draco.
Yeah, you return this.
You just
into
special
this
masterpiece,
zone,
and then he dies, and everything dies. You Regeki your opponent's play, and you completely interrupt them on their turn. It's amazing.
It's insane.
It's absolutely amazing. But, and there's a burn effect that I completely forgot about. If he kills something, he burns you for the original attack of that monster.
Right.
And I completely forgot about that. I play 2 Firewall. It comes up a lot if I make my Ningrisu play. I'll usually follow up into a Firewall just so I can shuffle back my resources.
Right.
That's literally the only good call for him. Like, his effect of Special Summon from the hand is nice, but I have enough of those effects and Tribute Summons, but it's mostly just to recycle my resources, and he's a 25 beat stick. He's really good, and he points all directions. It's just a solid card. Then I have Ningrisu. This card is the reason why I built this deck, because I saw him, I saw his artwork, and I'm like, I want to play this card. I want to play this card. So he is actually the hardest card in this deck to bring out, because he requires 2 or more linked monsters. And being a Link 3, that is not an easy feat to accomplish.
So you need like a Link 2 and a Link 1 Link monster in order to make him.
Or you can use 2 Link 2s, it doesn't matter, but he's a pain in the butt, because you have to...
A lot of resources.
You have to line up your pointers, you have to make a Link monster here, a Link monster here, and then you have to, like, it's really complicated to get his draw 3 off, but I usually resolved him for +2s or +2s or +3s all day. And when I made him, 9 times out of 10 I sent a card away. Like, he's really good because he sends and he doesn't destroy and it doesn't target. So like you activate it, they have to respond, and then you resolve your effect and you send to the grave. And it's just amazing. That's how
he could send any monster on your side of the field,
any card
on your side of the field to special summon any monster from your graveyard. Correct?
No, that's the one coming up. But this, this guy, he won me a lot of games. He got over the Apocalypse in my last game, and that's how I won. That's how I won that match, is because he sent Apocalypse to the grave and it didn't get to destroy anything. And then I linked into Topological Bomber Dragon.
Right.
But this card is absolutely amazing. It's definitely worthy of being a boss monster. Now onto this guy. He's probably one of my MVPs as my minor links. Like he's the first link monster I'll make as soon as I get the chance. As soon as I get 2 Stargirls on the board, I make this guy because his effect is nuts. As long as I have a Stargirl pointing to him, I can tribute that monster, and then special summon any monster from my graveyard to his link pointer, which is ridiculous, because if I've used Ningrisu, if I've used Masterpiece, if I've used any monster that I could possibly think of that I could want back in that particular situation, which 9 times out of 10 was Masterpiece, because it gave me a beater, I could just summon a vanilla that was worthless and then turn it into a Masterpiece. I could summon a vanilla and make it into... I could summon Lee, get a search, and then make Firewall Dragon come out of nowhere.
Wow.
Like, it's just ridiculous.
That's insane.
But yeah, he's really good. If I had room for him at 3, I would play him at 3, but I need the others that I'm about to show you at 3. Ib.
We got Bay over here.
She is, by all means, probably one of the ones I go into the absolute most, because she does so much and she's so easy to make in this deck, because everything is fucking different. Sorry.
Right.
Everything is different.
It's all good. It's all good.
Everything is different. Like, because you have to have 2 monsters with different types and attributes. So, like, you have to have a water spellcaster, and, like, you can't have a water psychic. It has to be completely different.
Right.
The worms, the fire worm, though, works really well. And the tokens with Gofu means you can make Cyber Sling Spider and a token and mix it with her, because she doesn't say no tokens. But her cool effect, besides the special summon effect, is as long as she's linked, so if I have, say, him pointing to her, she cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects. And then when she's linked to a monster, she can tribute herself if that monster would be destroyed by a card effect, and send herself to the graveyard instead. So, like, if you tried to, like, Dark Hole or Regeki or something, or Apocalypse for this case, you tried to destroy my Firewall, and she's linked to it, I can send her instead.
Right.
And that's really good.
And then she triggers in the graveyard to special summon a vanilla, correct?
Any World Chalice monster.
Any World Chalice. So you could just keep floating on down, like...
Oh, and something I forgot because it didn't come up because I didn't face Zoo. But if you're playing against, like, a Zoo deck and you have this card in your hand, while it's on the field, if a monster would be special summoned from the extra deck, you can actually tribute this card to send that monster to the graveyard. You don't even negate the summon, you just send it to the graveyard.
Right.
And that's just something I completely forgot about, because it never came up. I had played against True Draco like twice. So it wasn't really relevant, but it's something important to note.
Right.
But yeah, she can also create a soft lock. It never came up for me, but if you put 2 of them together like this, you can't destroy them by battle or target them with card effects, so they're pretty much indestructible. They're 18, so they're really easy to run into, but
just the fact that it's a soft lock.
And it's a free link for whenever you need it.
Right.
And then last but not least, my MVP in terms of starting my chains, Imduck. This card. Okay, so his first effect is kind of like he's a normal monster except the token, so you can't use Gofu to make him. But that's not hard because I often found myself with a vanilla. But his effect is the one that I didn't really use was if anything points to his link. So if I make him and like they have another monster here,
right, he can just like
auto
kill it.
And he auto kills it. He doesn't even have to can.
Right,
he just kills it. He's an 800 dragon. He just wrecks things. But his real shining effect is he lets me normal summon another World Chalice monster, which is really complementary with the rest of the deck because I've got Heritage, I've got Disciples, I've got this, I've got ton of ways to summon monsters, and this is just one of them. And then when all the rest of them, when you send from the field to the grave, he just boom goes.
All right, so we're gonna go on to the side deck now, or if you want to, you don't have to, but
I'm still working on it. One Mind Control. Okay. I recently picked this up. I wanted to play it today. Well, I want to side against stuff like Zoo, stuff that have problematic cards that I can just get rid of. Because Mind Control lets me take your monster, and since all of my links are so varied, I can just pretty much link with whatever I take. It doesn't really matter. But yeah, so this is just spot removal, and it gets over problems like Dryden. This is again for Zoo, but I didn't play it. Different Dimension Ground, because they don't need any resources. I have a hard enough time dealing with them because of Dryden. But, But it didn't come up. I played 1 Ghost Ogre because I haven't picked up another set of secrets. I need 2 more secrets, but
you gonna get the ulties? You gonna get the ulties?
I want the secrets because I have like the family. But I play her at 1 right now, and it really didn't matter when it came up. It was really good, but I didn't see any situation where I'd absolutely die for it. But it was good. I'd probably played it 2 in my side, but it's really good. It won me a few games. It killed Diagram, and that's just this I had just in case of a mirror match. Because for some odd reason, I was thinking some people would try to be inventive, but I was wrong. No one wanted to test the link mechanic. I think I was one of the only people using an active, heavy link-based deck. But this was just basically so I could rip cards out of people's link decks. Because I know how this deck works. I know what cards to hit. Like if I rip Imduck or Ib, it slows the deck down tremendously, and that's really good. So I need to pick up another copy of her too for my side deck because it's really good against the mirror. Ash didn't really come up. I only had 1, but it doesn't matter. I didn't see a situation where I wanted to decide it. This card, oh my god,
I hate you.
This card,
I hate you.
So being that I'm playing a meta engine in my deck, and the majority of the meta plays a true Draco engine of some sort, this was an interesting tech choice of mine, but it paid off because it let me win a game against Kenneth. Basically, I
hate you.
When you activate this card, you look at your opponent's hand and they look at yours. They take one of your cards, you take one of theirs. So my thought process behind this was I could turn a dead hand into a playable hand by taking something valuable.
So what you did was you normal summoned your 0 attack Ghost Ogre.
I summoned Ghost Ogre in attack mode, and then I activated Exchange after playing my World Legacy Heart card to add back a vanilla. I gave him a vanilla, and I took Majesty Maiden, which I proceeded to summon.
Right.
So I forced him to get over the Majesty Maiden while sitting on a Ghost Ogre with 0. Like, it's like, no fear, summon Ghost Ogre,
go. It was insane.
Like, it was ridiculous.
I didn't even know what was going on. When I saw the card on the mat, I thought it was a joke.
But I honestly wouldn't take this out because even still, if the ban list changes and World Chalice has still become a good card, this is still not a bad card for mirror matches because it can turn your dead hands into playable ones. It can rip crucial combo pieces out and just give them something that's mediocre. Like, you can give them a vanilla and you can take, anything. Like, you could take, my particular case would be useful, you could take, like, a Lee. That would be amazing.
Oh, yeah, because you could just summon that search.
But taking monsters was great. I was hoping to rip something good, but I ripped Majesty Maiden to try to search Masterpiece. And then this, which didn't come up very often. Well, maybe when True Dracos die out, this will be useful. I want this because if I go first, I don't like back row. Like this deck, I can play through it because of the True Draco engine, but I don't think that engine's going to be around for too much longer. And
right.
Reduce it to some degree. Depending on the degree, I'll have to change the deck. But this card just helps deal with back row. Like the deck's biggest weakness is it's a glass cannon, and that's where the true Dracos shine. They give it more momentum. They give it recovery that the deck desperately needs.
Right,
like,
right.
If you play, I've seen other builds, but they're like the Brilliant Fusion builds and stuff. They make really powerful plays, but none of them really disrupt your opponent's turn.
Right.
When you have Firewall Dragon, but if you have a Regeki or a well-placed Kaiju, you can easily remove those problems. And the true Dracos, it's not so simple because you can't just Kaiju or Regeki your way out of a Masterpiece.
Right.
Because if Masterpiece is on the board, I have other trap cards and other cards supporting him, and he's unaffected by cards, and he's popping cards. And then you have to deal about sending my links to the graveyard, special summoning monsters from my hand. Like it's really hard to get over a board that's got a bunch of protection. Especially, like, one of the plays I did the most was making him and then just throwing Masterpiece under him with Cloud Dragon in my hand. That means I've got to immediately, he's protected because of Cloud Dragon, he's protected because of Cloud Dragon, you can't target them, you can't, like, it's ridiculous. You have to break a board.
That's insane. So you give Masterpiece
More
even
protection.
more added protection.
On top of my own Link Monsters protection, and it just gives you recovery and protection and damage. Like,
This deck is insane, man.
It performed a lot better than I thought it was, because I threw it together Friday night, and I was just like, I'll throw it together. I didn't play Saturday. I ended up playing video games all day because I wanted to test, but I'm like, my car was getting fixed. And then I came in today, and I'm like, what's the worst that can happen? And
Right?
The synergy of the deck just turned out to be way stronger than I thought.
Well, the deck is definitely insane, very creative. It was really good today. I mean, I had fun watching it, perform against other people.
I have a lot of fun playing.
Yeah. Well, that is it. I want to thank you for the deck profile.
Not a problem.
For everybody watching, if you still made it this far, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we are out.